So is the Milwaukee M18 inflator still the best, or is one of these newer inflators on the market better? So just like the previous inflator test videos here, going to inflate this 195 by 75 R14 here to 35 psi. So the M18, inflating that tire to 35 psi, yeah, actually a little bit of a boost there using the new 12 amp hour forged battery with the tabless cells. 4-volt Ryobi here, yeah, did pretty bad inflating this tire from 0 to 35 psi. Definitely wouldn't recommend this. When we factor in the duty cycle of on and off, you're looking at roughly 41 minutes here. Now it does have a removable battery, USB-C charging port, also comes with a couple hang straps, so if you want to attach it to a bike, and can be stored right there on the tool, along with the accessories, which are stored here in the back. Now, one thing I will say that is nice, you can screw in this needle adapter here, which would make inflating a soccer ball, basketball, something like that real nice and easy. Small little LED on the front, single button here, displays in PSI. No setting here, you're just going to press the button until you see your desired PSI, and it does have a battery indication light here in the center. Made in Vietnam with an MSRP for the kit, including the battery, of $39. The smaller Ryobi, which is just the inflator here, at least from my testing, you want to be using something better than that standard 2 amp hour. I seen a performance gain going to the high output batteries. Nice compact unit, hose gets wrapped around there, you have a holder there. Display on top, pretty straightforward. You have an on button, stores your last desired pressure. You have a plus and a minus there going up single digits. And you have a play and stop button with that latch style connection. Along with the adapters stored here in the base. Made in Vietnam, again, with a tool in the MSRP of $40. Now the larger Ryobi inflator, almost identical performance here to that smaller one. I would say the internal pump must be quite similar. Just like the smaller version has the hose wrapped around in this spot right here, but this one has holders molded in, and it comes with a plastic quick connect fitting there. Accessories again are in the base. We have that power button, a little flashlight there. Very similar setup here to the other one, but you do have the ability to do large volume inflation, and to get there you're just going to click this power button again, and you can see it cycles over to the air mattress setting there. I will say I would have preferred this display the other way around, because if you're right side up sitting on top of the battery, then that display there is upside down. Large inflator wise, pretty basic hose, probably wouldn't last very long, and it comes with a needle adapter there in the back. My only concern is after multiple tests, you can hear this thing doesn't sound very well, even though the performance didn't drop very much. But a tool in MSRP of $70 made in Vietnam. DeWalt, yeah, no real benefit here to using different batteries. You're looking at roughly 4 minutes, 50 seconds there to inflate this tire. The smaller Craftsman, pretty much the same times here across the board. Yes, you do gain a little bit there going with the 4, the 6, or the 9. Hose has that latch style connection. We do have a hose holder here on this one side. One thing I will say, I would have liked to seen a hose holder on the additional side here, which would have snapped in like so instead of this waving around like so. Accessories stored here on top. Display reading in PSI, so there is no preset. Whatever it reads is what the value is, and you have to hold that trigger until you get to that desired value. Made in Vietnam with an MSRP tool only of $50. Larger Craftsman inflator, pretty much the same story, but with a little less performance, which is interesting here. So on the side there is a compartment, which contains the adapters for the large inflator and the 12-volt power cord. Now this one, unlike the DeWalt, is either battery or 12 volt. You cannot buy an AC adapter for it. Large inflator hose, a little bit bigger diameter there, and just like the DeWalt, it is flexible and expands. One thing that is interesting here, this one you can use also as a vacuum, so it does have a vacuum attachment there. On the opposite side, there is the ports for the large inflator, along with the vacuum option here. And you can remove the bottom, and you have your cup here, whatever you vacuum up, plus a little filter. Similar to the DeWalt, we have that LED light here on the front. On the back, you do have that small inflator hose with the screw style connection and your adapters. Button-wise, we have that power button for your LED light, change between small inflation to large inflation, your plus and your minus. Where again here, just like the DeWalt, you're going in 0.5 intervals. If you hold it, it'll scroll up. And your play and pause button. Made in China with a tooling MSRP of $79. Ridgid, yeah, a little bit of a gain there, going above that 2 amp hour max, but honestly, no real difference using the new EXP. Avid Power, honestly, not too bad considering the size of this tool. Comes with a 12-volt adapter there and a soft case. Included in the kit is a 1.5 amp hour battery, that quick connect style hose with those accessories stored here on the top. The back, you have an on button. You can go ahead and change the units and your desired pressure. Now this will store your desired pressure in there, so you have one memory function. And then if you pull the trigger now, it will inflate until you hit that desired setting. You don't have to hold this trigger the whole time. You just have to pull it once, and then it's going to run the pressure up to your desired pressure. Made in China with a kit price there of $90. Metabo HPT, yeah, it really doesn't matter which battery you're running here performance-wise. On the side here, you have those accessories. LED light where the button is right here on the handle. Hose there, wrapped around, screw connection. On the back in this storage compartment is the 12-volt wiring. Then we have that large volume hose with the accessory holder here on the side and the deflate air in. Now, one thing I will say is that large adapter, at least for mine, was already screwed on the hose. And from what I can tell, this is just extra storage. In front, we have that power button. You have the option to change between tire and high volume inflation. Has a memory setting here, and you do single unit adjustment with the plus and the minus. Change between bar, PSI, KPA, and then you have that start stop right here. Made in China with a tooling MSRP of $129. Makita 40 volt. Yeah, actually a little bit of a gain here running the new tabless battery. So on the back you have the hose holder and a screw style attachment. So an additional adapter here along with the adapters here on the front and then the LED below those. Power button on the side, and this also has that deflate function. So if you need to drop a little bit in pressure, you don't have to unscrew there. You can just hold this and then recheck your pressure. Now, being that this is the overseas version, we have KPA and bar. We have that setting there. So here in KPA, it's set to 240, roughly 35 PSI. And you also have that mode setting. So if you hold the button, you can see we change basically how fast the inflator will inflate. Trigger here. Now, this is one of those things that I've said it before in previous videos. You have to hold this trigger even though you set a desired pressure. The only real way to get around it, well, is to use a zip tie here. I don't know why they couldn't incorporate that, just like even that cheap one there. You just pull the trigger once, starts the inflation process. Made in China with a tool MSRP here of $209. So here's how they performed with a kit battery. Now I did have to make my own kits here. Basically each one with a K there. There is an available kit. Ones without a K, there is not an available kit, but I used a 2.0 amp hour to make it fair. Really no surprise. Milwaukee here on top, followed by Makita, and then Ridgid. Actually, just like previous testing. Then we go to best battery, same thing, Milwaukee, Makita, Ridgid. Now I inflated a 5-gallon tank here to 90 psi, trying to simulate larger tires. And I factored that duty cycle in here as well. So along the side, you can see the duty cycle listed there. So for example, Milwaukee here, 20 minutes on, and then you have to let it sit off. But again, Milwaukee, Makita, and Ridgid here are on top. Now for the ones that you do have that 12-volt option, the Craftsman dual unit here actually came in first, followed by the Skill, and then the DeWalt. So that drop in voltage definitely really harms the Ridgid here. Now inflating that twin air mattress, yeah, pretty much the same here across the board. There's really no difference between any of these, and the deflate time is almost exactly the same as well. So I'm actually going to put the Avid Power here in last. Yes, I know this is a smaller inflator. It's hard to rank these against the larger ones, but to me, I think you have a few better options out there, and you can grow into a larger platform like Ryobi or Ridgid or something like that. But it did decent. It does have that auto shut off function. You just have to click the trigger there. It starts right up. Next going to be the dual Ryobi here. Little concerned with the noise. You know, decent performance, nice little package here. But again, that noise concerns me. Maybe it's just I got a defective one. You know, the Craftsman, yeah, did quite well. Just kind of a kicker there that it doesn't have a auto shut off feature or settings. If you're running Metabo HPT and you're looking for a dual inflator, yeah, I don't think you can really go wrong with this. Same thing here if you're running DeWalt. Really do like that adjustment wheel. So the dual Craftsman here, yeah, not the greatest performance, but it's interesting they incorporated this vacuum function. Makita 40 volt, why do we have to hold the trigger the whole time if we have an auto shut off setting? Why have the adjustment here if you've got to hold the trigger the whole time? Makes no sense, Makita. Which is sad because it performed quite well. But for my third, second, and first place pick, gonna be Ryobi here third. Compact, decent price in my opinion of $40. Ridgid, almost the same deal. Small and compact, very good performance. Has that 12-volt feature there. And again, that quick and easy adjustment there with this turn wheel. But currently, from my testing, Milwaukee is still on top here with this M18 inflator. And it does get a little bit of a boost there running this new 12 amp hour tabless forged battery. So while running these tests, I did take a look at the actual pressure versus the set pressure. And the highest deviation was 2 psi, so nothing real crazy. This also varied between the tests. So say the Ryobi came in right at 35, then maybe the test with the next battery, it may have been 37, or it may have been 34. So nothing real crazy. So if you're looking for more information on the settings for the Milwaukee, Ridgid, DeWalt, I'll put the links below to the previous test videos, which include that. And at the end here, I did do some dB testing if you want to hear the tone of each of these, along with the table like normal with the specs. Product links will be below. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you found this video useful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Now, if you're curious about noise here, I did grab the dB, and you can hear the tone of each one. I also measured the length of the hose for the larger inflator if equipped, the length of the 12-volt cord, and also the weight of the tool here without the battery.